With Halloween right around the corner, I thought maybe some people would be looking for the creepiest things in Batman's history. So today, we're going to give you 10 of the creepiest things out of Batman's history with a friend of ours from That Creepy Reading. I figured if I was going to cover creepy moments, I might as well ask an expert creepy guy, so he'll be taking it from here. I just didn't want you guys to be jarringly unaware of what was going on. Don't forget to check out his channel if you enjoy the way he reads this at That Creepy Reading. So let's go ahead and kick off this list.
Number 1. The death of Bruce Wayne's parents. I feel like this is something that we've been desensitized to over the years of all the retellings, but think about this for just one moment. A child watches his parents get murdered right in front of his eyes. This was so traumatic for him that he practically relives it every day, even into his 30s. He remembers every vivid detail, from blood splashing to Martha's pearls hitting the ground. He remembers the smell of gun oil and the snarl from Joe Chill himself. Some of you might be saying, oh, this isn't creepy, but the fact is, Bruce was so young that this stayed with him forever. Number 2. What happens if they survive? Now, this is a bit of a continuation of the last item, but what makes the last item even more creepier and almost sinister of an idea is what happens if Thomas and Martha survive. There's an alternate reality where Thomas and Martha watch their son murdered in front of their eyes. Thomas then takes up a life of crime fighting similar to the Cape Crusader himself, trying to keep this from happening to anyone else. But this is where things get weird and disturbing. Unlike Thomas and Batman, who took this as a way to better themselves and their community, Martha actually becomes traumatized and becomes this universe's Joker, carrying on with a life of crime and murdering people. Number 3. Joker's Faceoff. A moment that will forever be remembered with the Joker is when he cut off his own face and turned it into a mask. It must be one of the most twisted moments in Joker's history. He literally didn't have any good reason for this either. It was simply a message to Batman. He had cut it off and left it behind for Batman, and then stole his face a year later and then belted it onto his own head, and then proceeded to kidnap the entire Bat family and pretend to slice off their faces, as well as leaving them on ice platters in front of the family. Just had to take it too far, didn't he? Number 4. Batman's addiction. Next up is the moment that Batman was no longer an invincible hero, but instead a drug addict, as he tries to use drugs to be a better superhero. This was brought on when Batman failed to save a young girl, and he finally decides that regular guy Bruce Wayne isn't enough. She died because he had human strength and he wasn't able to move the rubble in time. This led to Dark Knight down a terrible road of drug use and addiction. And seeing a man we all used to think was stronger than anyone else be crippled by a demand for drugs was something else. Something creepy. Especially when he was foaming at the mouth in a fetal position. Number 5. Batman Dracula. Another creep-tastic story is Vampire Batman and his need to drink blood. This started in a single story where Batman is granted the gift of vampirism to help him fight Dracula, but we quickly see that he actually enjoys it and a taste for blood. This turns Batman into literally Batman, and the story begins to take on a creepy turn following that. The Joker leads the remaining vampires into a war against Batman, while even Catwoman is turned into a werecat due to a werewolf spite. Batman then drained the Joker of all his blood, and to add insult to injury, stakes him. He then goes even crazier as his body is decaying and mass murders every villain in Gotham. It's a twisted story of Batman falling into madness. Number 6. The Killing Joke. The Killing Joke and Joker's twisted mindset is another one of the creepy tales within the world of Batman. This is a story in which the Joker explains that he turned evil after one bad day of bad news, so he decides he'll show that this can apply to anyone by kidnapping Jim Gordon and torturing him mentally. How does he do this? Well, he shoots Barbara Gordon in the spine, and then it's implied that he did something to her while she was naked. The whole time, Jim is forced to find out about this. He is also naked and humiliated as he's being carted around the area by circus freaks. Number 7. Amadeus's Arkham. Arkham Asylum, a serious house on a serious earth. This tells a story of Amadeus Arkham as he goes insane while building Arkham Asylum itself. His mother committed suicide long ago, and to help people who might be suffering from similar ailments, he wanted to build this asylum. Now, I can't stress this enough, he only wanted to help people. Well, eventually, one of his patients escapes and murders his wife and daughter. That would be terrifying enough, except this opened a memory in his mind, where he was in fact the murderer that killed his mother in his own attempt as a child to save her from her insanity. This really brings on a new definition of your own worst enemy. Number 8, Scarecrow. There is also a story in which the Scarecrow is altered beyond recognition, and in it, Penguin does a drug experiment on his old friend. He's then mutilated into this monstrous scarebeast. He seemingly gains the ability to control his transformation and runs wild on the city until he's stopped by Catwoman, Robin, Tarantula, and Onyx. Number 9, Cosmic Alteration. But speaking of villains being changed, the Joker gained cosmic powers by tricking Mr. Mxyzptlk and proceeding to alter all of reality as he wanted. These acts included the murder of Lex Luthor over and over and over again, eating all of China, and repeatedly torturing Batman just to bring him back to life and torture him again and again. It actually took Superman to stop this. Even though he had originally been changed into a dog, he managed to talk to the Joker out by stating that he needed to have his relationship with Batman to give him purpose. Number 10, Gordon's second wife. And lastly, we'll end with this one. There isn't much to this storyline in which Commissioner Gordon's second wife confronts the Joker. She has a gun to his head, and instead of pulling the trigger, the Joker threw a baby into the air, knowing that she would catch it instead of killing him. He then murdered her, leaving her in a pool of her own blood, surrounded by dozens of babies crawling in it. Holy hell, I did not realize Batman got that dark. But if you guys happen to like dark things and furthermore Batman, I recently did a top list on my channel, simply called The Top 20 Lost Horror Movies. It's a very fun watch and even includes a Lost Batman film. I don't know how much awesomer it can get than that. So if you guys would like to check out my channel, I usually read horror stories and things of the like, and I also have nice long videos for you to enjoy on this cold Halloween night. I've been your host, ThatCreepyReading, and today I'm signing off.